I'm going to go back to the Arch Collaborative here. So one of the EMR implementations that you are a part of received an 84% score on their ClassNet EMR experience score. Two things. One is talk a little bit about that score and the value of that score. And the second is, what obviously training, but were there some other things that your team did to achieve that level of proficiency?
So I do want to call it that was way beyond the implementation. That was 5 or 6 years later. So back to being a product.
Got it.
I think the score just gives you an idea of where you stand relative to the nationally, and then it gives you you can really dig into it and get granular. And so what we learned there is that we really had some real opportunities in personalization. But what we did, in fact, this was one of my favorite parts, the story I love to tell is, it was part of a larger organizational initiative, and we, instead of being reactive about the EMR's role in provider efficiency, we were proactive, and we said, okay, we're going to do advanced training, and we're going to have ownership and engagement. We're going to draft physicians to have part of their job be the EMR, and out of that, we're going to have good enhancements, optimization, and good configuration in the EMR. So advanced provider training, initially, the response was, I have a very funny slide, and they're cartoons, but they're real people. And so one person, a leader, said, we don't need training, you just need to get rid of the clicks. And another person, a leader, said, my docs are really smart, just fix the 10 things they tell you to fix. And we smiled, and we created this advanced provider training, which was specialty specific. So you train the cardiologists together. They don't need to know the same as the ER docs. And you also need, this is ownership engagement, you need a champion, a physician from within to decide the content. So one of my favorite jokes was, I would say, brought to you by, Dr. Smith, not the training team. So if you didn't have a good champion, you didn't have good training. And then also do it in production so they can clean up and do their in-basket. So we did all that. Remember, they're demanding, we don't need training. And we did it, and we smiled, and we kept saying, and we got great results. And then this is a slide with a cartoon, but these are true results. The person who said, we just get rid of the click, said, well, I need you to train my 160 primary care providers. When can you do that? And then the other person literally said, this is in the cartoon, but it was a true thing. Hey, this is what we've always been asking for. Thanks for doing it. So I think people don't realize the value of training. And if that neurosurgeon the other night yelling at me, literally at a social event, if I had said to him, hey, it's really training and support, he wouldn't have bought it. And I get it. And then the funniest is, so after we did some pilots, I used to get hate mail when I couldn't accommodate a specialty. So, endocrinology, we can't get you for a few months. And people would complain. And then people would say, so when are we getting that training again? So this was 2 2-hour sessions in the classroom, and it was recorded. And people were complaining, you didn't get to us. That wasn't what I expected. Yeah. So I think the other secret sauce, which I should mention, is that organization always, from the get-go, from their go-live 5 years before, had this very robust, just star, what they called provider liaisons, at the elbow support. And I think that team was the secret sauce that got us the 5 years before. And then they were also the secret sauce that kind of really helped with the execution of the training, helped with figuring out the personalization later, and would partner with that physician champion, or what we then called an epic medical lead. And that's the ongoing ownership and engagement. So I think those were the ingredients that were specific to that one organization, but they were also, they map back to what the Arch Collaborative is finding at a national level. It's just how you do it can vary.
It's interesting.
Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And one of the things we've talked about on the show, and I've talked about with other people in the industry, is just the training we need now is not necessarily technology or even medical. It's a sociology background would be good, because it's changing the culture. It's understanding the culture. And it's really moving that needle. And what you described is you've created a culture. You've changed the culture in the process of rolling out the EMR, and that's and that ends up being one of the critical success factors. Is it you're rolling something to these people, or are they are they a part of changing the way that medicine is delivered in that organization? And do they feel like they're a part of it? Are they a part of a community? Are they part of a learning community? It's all that stuff is just it's a new tool set for all of us.
And I think in that particular organization, it was years after the implementation. I think if I was to do an implementation again, we've all learned is one, the import of robust training, but of ownership and engagement, and not just for the go live. It's a product. And so you need physicians and all kinds of people, but I'm a physician, to own and be engaged in the content and the workflows of the EMR forever. And, in order to get a doc to do something, you need to enable them. So you need to sometimes give them time. You need to empower them. So when they make a decision, and you need to set expectations. So, hey, remember I took cardiology, you're the champion for training. Here's some time. You get to make the decisions, but you're going to get consensus and some expectations. And then ongoing, what their role is. I think we didn't know all that. And so we implemented the EMR, and then the docs kind of thought, oh, I put the content in, we're good.